Okay, this is my second diverse perspectives presentation. So let me get my PowerPoint pulled up. Okay, so for the second one, I chose to do learning progressions in writing. And this is something that we covered in Module 2, Week 3 from an article called Learning Progressions, Blueprints for Formative Assessment Process. And first of all, why did I choose this topic? So a quote from that article is, "If a ship without a rudder is by definition rudderless, then formative assessment without a learning progression often becomes planless. By planning what and how a student needs to learn to master our goal, we are able to create more detailed and individualized instruction." Obviously, this is something that's super helpful, especially in a special education classroom. I'm doing my paper on this topic. I'm really passionate about it. And the article that we had gave really great examples of how to make the building blocks for learning progressions. And it gave a really great explanation of what it is. But in my opinion, there are a lot of really great models out there to use, and you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. So before we start, I want to do a little refresher of what those building blocks are. Again, this is from the article that we already read. They are sub-skills or bodies of knowledge a student must possess before they are able to learn the target curricular aim. There will be several of them, and students do not go through them at the same pace. They are great in a special education classroom because it will help the teacher stay organized and keep the students on track. So the first thing that I found and wanted to show was this model that we can use as a reference. So this learning progression is for narrative writing, and it begins in pre-kindergarten, and then it goes all the way to grade 6, so it's following the student throughout a lot of their career. It has the overall goal, and then it has a lot of broken down pieces to it, and I think that that's really cool. And I like how it goes with them, but because it's broken down by grade level, if a student is struggling with like one aspect of it, let's say they get stuck on this in the kindergarten part, whenever they go on to grade 1, I don't know how exactly they would like remediate that for that student, but I just wanted to show that some of these like spread over a really long period of time. Another thing that I included was a separate reference model. And this one, again, like goes with the student. You can see starting school, 1 year after, 2 years after, 3, 4, 6. It goes to year 8. This one is even more detailed. I like that it has what they call deeper features. Then it has surface features, the process of writing, which I think this one's really important, and I like how it starts from drawing a picture and then goes all the way to like full writing. And it's just really detailed, and I love that. And again, this one says that when 80% of indicators are highlighted, the student has achieved the level, and if not, they've achieved the previous level. So I guess the way, I like that they included that because it shows that like they're not just going to leave a student in the dust. Like they're going to keep working with them at the thing until they get it, which is how these are supposed to be performed. So I really think that this is a strong format or model to use if you were going to like implement this with your school district or even in your classroom. And the great thing about the learning progressions with writing, especially like this one, is it's going with a student from when they're not even thinking about writing it, like they're just scribbling or drawing pictures, and it takes them all the way completely through the writing process. Because it's so split up like this, you can really make sure that each student is on the exact pace they need to be, and it's super individualized, which benefits the student and keeps the teacher organized, helps them with a lot of like progress monitoring. Finally, I wanted to talk about how you can implement learning progressions in your classroom. I really like this that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers because it utilizes SRSD. So the students help the teacher track their progress on the learning progression model. So the teachers are not solely in charge of progress monitoring and data tracking, and it also holds the students more accountable for what they're learning, and it allows the students to work at their own pace. So let's look at this one. Okay, and I'm just going to click on the preview. So for this one, I'm not so much focused on the actual sub-skills that they're working on with the progressions. I want to focus on the way that they're like displaying it in the classroom. So if you look, this says they're a great way to provide student feedback and an ongoing way to track the progress. So each student will have like a clip with their name on it, and all the sub-skills will be on the wall. And as they go up, they're progressing in it, and they keep track. They'll move their clip to which sub-skill they're on, working towards the curricular aim that you have for them. And like I said, this is a great way to also implement SRSD into the classroom. It's great for like data tracking, and I like that each level of the learning progression is a different color. So it keeps everything really organized, and you don't have to have all of them on your wall at the same time necessarily. For example, like if none of your students are in this orange one, you don't even have to display the orange one until you get there or once you leave there. And I think the students would like really find that like an active way to be involved in their educational career, not so much just like doing the work, but they would think that it was fun and exciting to move their little clothespin. So I just really liked that. And those are my sources, and I hope that you guys found some different models of learning progressions that you could use instead of just having to make your own, because while you definitely can do that and that's great, don't stress yourself out about it, like especially in the first few years of teaching when things are really overwhelming. I think it's great to find really good models to use, or at least to go off of. And then I will definitely be doing something like that teachers pay teachers thing where your students help you keep track of their progress on the wall. So I hope you guys enjoyed it.